And now we welcome in Barry Tramel, who is now writing for the Tulsa World, longtime sports columnist, and has done it at an elite level following the Oklahoma team. So naturally, Oklahoma State in town. Let's bring in the expert so he can answer some questions. Barry, welcome back to BYU Sports Nation. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How's things in Provo?
Couldn't be better. 6-0 and awesome, man.
Just like we all thought, Barry. Everybody thought this was going to happen for BYU. How is your perception of what's going on in the Big 12, specifically with BYU?
Well, I'm very pleased for the Cougars. I was optimistic that they were underrated, but I was not so optimistic that I thought they would be in the upper level, one of the 5 or 6 contenders. It makes a lot of sense, though, in this age of turmoil and turnover, and you never know what you're going to get because BYU is a really solid place. The portal doesn't hit Provo going or coming as much as it does a lot of people. So if you build a strong program, I think you got the upper hand. The same could be said of Oklahoma State, of course. I mean, this is a team that had 19 or 20 starters returning, lots of experience. It's gone the other way for the Cowboys, but very pleased for BYU. I thought we saw elements of BYU's potential success last year. The Cougars are 5-5 going into their Oklahoma two-step to finish the season, and could have won either one of those games. The Sooners in Provo, Cowboys in Stillwater, excellent games on both ends. Came up on the wrong end for BYU, so they missed the postseason. But you could tell there were some foundations that were in place for Kalani's team to be much better and be successful in 2024.
That's a great point because, BYU's, just this close to being 7-5 and finishing the win with 2 ranked teams on the other side there. Now they're 6-0 this year. Oklahoma State expected to be very good and contend in the Big 12. They've started 0-3 in league. This is not – Mike Gundy does not produce teams that kind of look like this at this point. Granted, they still have time to recover and get to a bowl game and whatnot. But what's been behind the 0-3 start in league so far for the Cowboys?
Well, they clearly had the makings of a good team, right? I mean, they beat Arkansas in Stillwater. Arkansas turned out to be a really good team. They beat Tennessee, and I think Razorbacks are 4-2. But the offense just can't get out of the starting gate. They can't run the ball at all. They've got that veteran line. They've got 6 sixth-year guys on that offensive line, and they just can't block anybody. So Ollie Gordon hasn't got out of the starting gate. And Alan Bowman has not been very effective compared to last year. He's a 7th-year quarterback. You sort of expect him to be better than this. We think he's not going to start on Friday night at Brigham Young. I think Garrett Rangel is probably the guy. So they're looking for a spark. Haven't found one. They can't get the strength of the team is the receiving core. They're very good, but they can't get them the ball. Teams are able to shut down the run, which means they're able to play the pass pretty good. So just not very good on offense. Defensively, they're okay before injuries hit. Their 2 best players are out, Colin Oliver and Nick Martin, both top-level linebackers. And I saw one poll, a media poll, that even now Nick Martin's missed the last game and a half. The media poll voted him Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year.
Wow.
To this point, I don't think that's probably accurate, but he's a really good player. Colin Oliver is also, but they're both out, haven't been playing. Cowboy defense has been gutted, so it's pretty susceptible to big plays and sustained drives. So right now the Cowboys are just a floundering football team.
Barry Tramel of the Tulsa World is on BYU Sports Nation. If Rangel is going to start at quarterback for Oklahoma State, what type of QB is he? What is his skill set, and what does he bring to the Cowboys, assuming he is hitting on all cylinders?
Well, he's had a strange career. This is 3rd year in Stillwater, and if he starts, it'll be the 3rd straight year in which he started at least 1 game. So he was part of the Mike Gundy's unorthodox 3-man rotation last September. First 3 games of the year, Gundy rotated 3 quarterbacks. Rangel started one of those games. And he started a couple of games in 2022 as a true freshman. He's sort of an indistinguishable quarterback. He runs okay. He throws okay. but he hasn't shown that he does either one at a high level. And he's made some mistakes too. So frankly, this is sort of in my mind, it's a little bit of a last chance saloon type situation for Garrett Rangel. I think OSU's trying to find out if he's got the potential to be their quarterback in the years to come. So there'll be some pressure on him if he takes over this offense. He's played okay in a couple of games, not okay in a couple. So it's a little bit of a crapshoot, and just another reason to like BYU in this game.
BYU's finally a big favorite. BYU 6-0 against the spread. It's like, oh, can they do it again? I don't know. You look across there and you see the Doak Walker Award winner, Ollie Gordon II, who's an NFL running back. You mentioned that line with all the experience. They haven't been able to block anybody. 3.8 yards per carry and 4 touchdowns this year. He's not going over 100 yards. What's up with Ollie Gordon II and this line, and how much is Ollie? How much is the line?
Well, I think it's mostly the line. Ollie looks like he's still playing hard. He looks like he's still, a second effort, straining himself for extra yardage. He's doing all the things a great back does, but there's just not much in the way of holes, and it's very bewildering because, everybody was high on this offensive line. Some had them ranked among the 5 best offensive lines in America. Same guys were blocking for him that blocked for him for the Doak Walker Award. So it's a mystery. I think what we saw down the stretch, BYU did this a little bit. Central Florida was excellent at it. Texas was excellent at it. But teams really schemed to shut down Ollie Gordon down the stretch last season. And they said, you're not going to beat us. And that's what teams are doing this year. And the Cowboys have not been able to respond with the passing game to the extent you have to. So some of that's on Alan Bowman. Some of that is on the pass blocking. Most of it is on the run blocking. It's just been an offensive mystery. I think there's probably going to be some staff changes at the end of the year, which Mike Gundy, particularly on offense, has done from time to time. So we'll see. But this is a very disappointing year. When OSU came into the season ranked, I think preseason 15, I think a Big 12 title contender, a college football playoff contender. Now both of those appear gone, and it just looks like a lost season.
Barry Tramel is an award-winning journalist for the Tulsa World, following the Oklahoma football programs. Barry, when you look at the top of the Big 12 right now, 3 unbeaten teams: Iowa State, BYU, Texas Tech. Who's the best team in the Big 12 right now? And some people think it's 2-1 Kansas State.
Well, I actually I rank BYU and Iowa State 1-2. I think Texas Tech I don't really put in their class. The Red Raiders have had a fairly easy schedule. They've had a couple of close calls. When you look at what BYU's done, outside of maybe Oregon, I don't know that any school in America has 2 wins as good as BYU does. SMU and Kansas State both would be either top 10 or knocking on the top 10 if they hadn't lost to the Cougars. So I like Brigham Young's resume very, very much. I thought Iowa State's win at Iowa was big, not only for the Cyclones, but for the Big 12. Really did a good number for the conference. So I think those 2 teams have elevated themselves, and I think Kansas State is really good also. They had a bad, 5-minute stretch in Provo, maybe it's 7 minutes, I can't remember, but they give up the 4 touchdowns in 7 minutes and get blown out by the Cougs. But I think Kansas State's got a really good team. That was a really gutty win at Boulder on Saturday night. So I think those are the 3 best teams. Those are the 3 I'm putting my money on to be in Arlington. I would say Tech is also in the running. West Virginia, with only 1 loss, they play K-State on Saturday night. They could be in the tier. And whoever wins Arizona State Cincinnati is going to be 3-1 in the league. I don't think they can sustain that, but if you get to 3-1, you're ahead of a lot of people. So I think those are the teams we're looking at. But Brigham Young, Iowa State, and Kansas State, I think, are the 3 favorites. 2 of those 3 are who I expect to be in Arlington.
We're about halfway through the season, so a lot could happen still, as you mentioned. But how are you feeling about what the Big 12 could do in the 12-team playoff? Because the hope is certainly that they can get 2 teams in.
Well, here's what needs to happen. Those 3 teams I mentioned, Kansas State, Iowa State, Brigham Young, they all need to win. And multiple of those teams need to win because the sum of all fears is at least a possibility out there, which is this. Boise State looks good. Boise State has lost only to Oregon, a 3-point loss in Eugene. Boise State's got a couple of good games coming up in which would enhance their resume. I think they play at UNLV next week. So Boise State is a candidate for the at-large berth. And then you've got America's team, Army. Army's got Notre Dame coming up. If Army beats Notre Dame, and Army's really good, they could beat Notre Dame. If Army beats Notre Dame and wins out and wins the American title, you could have 2 mid-majors champions with arguments to get in and be ranked ahead of whoever wins the Big 12 or the ACC if those teams are in the 10-2 or 10-3 range. So if BYU is 11-1 or 12-1, Iowa State 11-1, 12-1, no. But if we end up with a 10-3 Big 12 champion, and we've got Boise State at 12-1 and Army at 12-0 sitting out there, I don't want to even think about it. It literally could happen. So we need, as a Big 12 loyalist, we need Brigham Young to keep winning. We need Iowa State to keep winning.
Great insight from you, Barry. We appreciate the time. You're going to be in South Carolina for the Oklahoma-South Carolina game, but I know you'll be watching BYU and Oklahoma State very closely. And next time you get to Provo, we've got a seat for you.
Hey, I'm crestfallen that I don't get to Provo this year, but I'm going to make it a habit to get there every other time the Cowboys come out there.
Thanks for the time, Barry.
Thanks, Barry.
Thanks, guys.